Hey, this is Larry Janesky from Dr. Energy Saver. Today we're going to be talking about sealing the shim spaces of doors and windows. The shim space, what is that? Well, when they install a new window in your home, when your home was built, if they had a 3-foot wide window, they would frame an opening in the framing of your home 2 inches bigger. So it makes room for the jamb, the frame of the window, and has space to shim. What does that mean, shim? Well, that means you're going to level and plumb that window, and you're going to need some space around it for wiggle room to get it right. Well, this space is a gap around the perimeter of the frame between the rough framing and that frame and that window, and you have this space here. And so what happens to that space? You know, today we invest in these very energy efficient windows, and these windows certainly are very energy efficient windows. They're sunrise windows. They have a U factor of 0.26. We divide the U factor into 1, you get the R value. So these are basically R4 windows compared to, you know, R45 and the roof and so forth, the spray foam that we put in here. But so the windows are always going to be the coldest point of the wall. If you shoot your windows in the winter with a thermal imaging camera, the glass will always be the coldest part. But what about this space around here? You know, it's one thing to have poorly insulated areas, which is the price we pay to have windows, right, to be able to see out. But you know, air leakage is a problem. We don't want any cold air coming in or warm air leaking out of our house, and this shim space presents a problem. So how is it typically dealt with? Well, the insulator, if they're insulating your home with fiberglass, which is about, you know, 99% of the homes in America, this is exactly what the insulator do. Take a stick, take some of this fluffy stuff, and it'll stick it in here like this, okay? And this is what happens. And take this stuff. Now you see this, I mean, I could breathe through this. I don't want to because I don't want to get fiberglass in my lungs, which is terribly irritating, but air goes right through fiberglass. I mean, that's what your furnace filter is made out of. Fiberglass is just not very good insulation because it doesn't stop airflow. So this is what would happen. And the air that leaks through the siding and through the exterior trim can come right through there, or air inside the building. At the top of the building, air leaks out. At the bottom of the building, air leaks in the winter. So this fiberglass will leak air, and very often when you take trim off later on in a house that's been built for a while, you'll see this insulation is all dirty and dusty from all the dirt that it filtered out of the air. So this is not the solution, and this is what everybody has. So what is the solution? Well, this is a better solution. You see we have this foam gun here. This is 1 part expanding polyurethane foam, and it has this little needle on here so I can get into little spaces. And let me just shoot some out onto the fiberglass here. You can see what happens here, right? This foam comes out and it expands as it comes out. So I can stick this in here, and you can see what happens is it's expanding, and it is filling that gap 100%. And we are not going to have any air leakage through this shim space. And here I can see daylight coming right from the outside. We can see daylight, and by putting this expanding foam in here, well, no more daylight, and we got some R value. And this little needle can fit into very small spaces. I mean, if we look here, you see this little space? This is going to be an air leak in your home. And look what I can do with this needle. I can stick that right in there, and I'm pumping that foam in there, and it's going underneath all the grooves in the bottom of the frame and sealing that gap 100%. I've got my finger on the trigger. That foam is coming out, and you can see what's happening there. And as that foam cures, we can trim it off with a knife, and then our trimmers can come in and they can put the trim around the window, the extension jambs in this case, and we are not going to have air leakage. Doors, same thing. You can see here, here's a door and here's a shim. You see these are cedar shingles typically because they're beveled, and they can stick them in from both directions and adjust how much of a shim they want to get this door jamb perfectly plumb. So when you open this door, you know, it doesn't open by itself or close by itself if this wasn't level. And this space, I mean, look at the top, it's over an inch at the top. And on the sides, you see the shim here and the shim down here, and that makes a space here for air to leak right in or out of the building. So we've used this expanding foam to seal it, not fiberglass. So how do you deal with this in an existing home where you have these shim spaces leaking air around your window jambs? We pay for replacement windows, but replacement windows stick a new window in the same existing window jamb. They don't take the window trim off or the window casing on the inside and expose that shim space so that someone can get in there and seal that with foam. And that's exactly what we need to do. Dr. Energy Saver has some tricks where if we're replacing a window, we can drill holes in the window jamb and stick this little bitty needle in that little hole, 1/8 of an inch, and fill that space between the window frame or the door frame and the rough framing with expanding foam. A bit of a tedious process, but well worth it to stop uncontrolled air leakage in and out of your home and to insulate around those windows and doors. If you have a home that you'd like to make more energy efficient, if you have rooms that are too cold in the winter, too hot in the summer, or cold floors, any of these problems, call Dr. Energy Saver. We'd love to help you.